can only look at an away victory here, but I think it will be an away victory. I'm going to predict an away victory, but we've still, as a Birmingham City, we've got to be cautious that we don't do what we've done in previous games, where we dominate games and don't make them into goals.
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue, and it's game week 17 in the League One fixture list, and we're here today for another score prediction video. And as always, we just, don't take these too seriously, just a little bit of fun between myself and Dad, where we've been keeping a rolling tally. Now, Dad, it has been an international break, so a lot of games got postponed, but do you want to give us an update on where we are currently on the points?
Yeah, so last game week, because of the postponements, including our own Birmingham City, there's only 5 games. What a ridiculous, low scoring. 3 of them were 0-0. One of them was 1-1. It was 1-0. So 3 goals in 5 games, which was actually quite staggering. We didn't have good weeks here ourselves in terms of predictions for the 5 games. But the running totals are you're on 85 and I'm on 96. So I've got a 11-point lead going into game week 17.
That's a lot. Okay, cool. So I've got a lot to claw back. Hopefully I can do it this weekend, Dad. So let's get started on fixture 1. That's Bolton at home to Blackpool. What are your thoughts for that game?
Right, so Blackpool, what can you say about Blackpool? When Steve Bruce first took over, there 4 wins on the bounce, but since then they've drawn 3 and lost 4, and they've gone right down the table. We currently sit, they're 18th in the table on a really, really poor run of form against the Bolton side, who have made a little bit of resurgence, although their form is still inconsistent. So in the last, 6 games, they've won 3, drawn 1 and lost 2, in fact losing their last game as well. Again, only on the basis of Blackpool's poor form and the fact that Bolton are at home. I've just gone for a 2-0 home victory.
2-0 home victory.
Yeah.
Okay, quite similar-ish. I've also gone for a home victory, Dad. I think Bolton have got goals in them. I think Blackpool, they just leak goals left, right and centre, don't they? And I feel quite sorry for them because they did have that little manager bounce and they've just gone off the wall, really. So I've gone for Bolton 3, Blackpool 1. I still think they will score.
Yeah, okay, so both gone for a home victory. Okay, Matt, so next we have Stevenage at home to Leyton Orient.
I know I say interesting game quite like that, but this genuinely is an interesting game because both these teams don't score a lot of goals, but they also don't concede a lot of goals either. I mean, they have had their moments where they've been involved in high-scoring games, but generally speaking, we had that running joke, Dad, with Charlton at the start of the season. It's going to be a 1-0 win.
Yeah.
Stevenage and Orient, it's become a theme for me where a lot of their games don't have massive amounts of goals, and I think Stevenage are an underrated team. I actually think Orient are a little bit underrated, to be honest, but I think at home, I think Stevenage are going to be a little bit stronger than Orient, and I've gone for 1-0 Stevenage win.
1-0, okay, it's a narrow victory.
Yeah, narrow victory for Stevenage.
Let me just type that into my spreadsheet. Okay, yeah, Orient as well. They're just hovering just above that relegation zone. They're away again. They have won 2 of the last 3, to be fair.
Beat Blackpool, a convincing result as well. So they
have 3-0. I think that
they have got a win in them. Yeah.
Yeah, so they've won 2 of the last 3, but out of the last 6, the previous 3 games before that win was 3 defeats. So they've got four losses and 2 wins in the last 6, but 2 of those wins are in the last 3. So they appear to be maybe starting to turn a bit of a corner against the Stevenage side that have had some really good results this season, but they're on a bit of a downside of form at the moment. So they've lost 3 of the last 4 and drawn that. So so it's lost, draw. So their form has taken a downturn as well. I've gone for a 1-1 draw here. I think that that with Stevenage being at home. And the form of both teams, I can't see anything past the draw, so I've gone 1-1.
Fair enough, okay. So that brings on to our next game, Dad, and that's Barnsley at home to Wigan. What are your thoughts for that?
Barnsley surprised me. I thought they were going to beat Cambridge. They drew at Cambridge, didn't they, in the last game week? This is during the international break week. This is one of the fixtures that was on. But I did see some of the clips from that game, and they should have won that game. And they missed some really, really good chances. So, we know as Birmingham City supporters what it's like to batter a team and not win.
I know.
And that's what happened here. So, I think that's a bit of a stumbling block for them. But they are still riding 5th in the table with, they're not unbeaten in the last 5. They've won 3 and drawn 2 of the last 5. So they're not on a bad run of form against a Wigan side who I can't get Wigan. I think they should be higher than 19th.
I agree.
From what I've seen when they played us, and I've seen clips of them, I just don't get why they're 19th. But they're on a bad run of form themselves. They've lost 3 and drawn 2 of the last 5.
Yeah.
So they're sort of struggling as well. And again, because Barnsley are at home, although Barnsley's home form is not brilliant, I've gone for Barnsley 3, Wigan 1.
Okay, convincing home win. I'll take
Yeah.
convincing. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I saw the highlights that day because I've had a family weekend. But you told me that Barnsley had missed. Oh my, they missed so many sitters, didn't they? They should have won that.
Yeah.
And that is definitely 2 points dropped for Barnsley because Cambridge are going to be a struggling team this season, sadly. And I agree, Dad. Wigan are really hard to figure out. They are, in my opinion, they are a much stronger team than 19th. In fact, I thought they were going to be top half of the table,
Me too.
if not maybe pushing for the playoffs
Yeah.
sort of level. I thought,
Yeah.
and I think they still could make a bit of a turnaround. I mean, let's see what happens. But Barnsley are an interesting team. Their away form is better than their home form. They were better on the road. They have been, obviously minus that last result. I've gone for a draw here. I've gone for Barnsley 1, Wigan 1.
1-1, okay. Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I was tempted with a draw, but then when I looked at the form and I saw that Barnsley were at home, I thought, it's 3-1 for me. It's going to be a home victory, in my opinion. So it's one of them games. It depends on what Wigan team turns up, what Barnsley team turns up. But okay, that's interesting. Next match, we have Burton Albion against Stockport County.
Well, at one point, Burton were the masters of the draw, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were just drawing all their games and they couldn't quite claw a victory. And Stockport, everyone tipped them to do well this season. I think, have they been 7th, Dad, Stockport?
Fourth.
Oh,
don't forget they beat Wrexham in the game week where most games were.
I think they were 7th before this game
they
week.
were.
Yeah. So I think that's where
possibly
where I'm getting that from.
Yeah.
Having a really good season. I mean, that Louis Barry, Dad, it kills me to say it because he's on loan from Villa, but he's a good player, isn't he? Scoring some screamers this season. Stockport, a very good team. I've gone for a little bit of a curveball here. I've backed Burton to get another draw. I've just got a feeling with this one, and I've gone for Burton 2, Stockport 2.
So I'm smiling. That's exactly the score I've gone for.
Really?
I've gone for
I genuinely wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I've gone for 2-2. And the reason is, Burton got picked up their first win, didn't they? They beat Shrewsbury in their last game, and they drew before that after a run of 7 defeats on the bounce. And you know what? I also think as well, when clubs get to that position where they are getting cut adrift at the bottom, and they still are actually. I mean, they're still 6 points from safety in 23rd place. There's only Shrewsbury below them. I think clubs get to a point where it's do or die, isn't it? So whatever you do is hook or crook. You've got to start pick up points. Stockport are an exceptionally good team in this league. You can't deny that. They've had some strange results, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
They lost 5-0 at home to Wickham.
And they beat someone.
A few days later, they beat Bolton 5-0. And then they go and beat Wrexham at home as well. They're on a good run of form. They're up to 4th place in the table now, having won 3 of the last 4. That 5-0 home defeat to Wickham was that result. So they are starting to again hit another bit of form now. So I just think that with Burton being at home, as good as Stockport are, and they are a good side, it'd be so easy to go for an away win here. I just think that this is now the time where Burton will be encouraged by that win, and I think they'll scrape another draw. And I'm amazed that you've gone for 2-2 as well, because that's exactly what I did.
I mean, as you said, that it would have been easy to pick an away win here. I mean, that's no disrespect to Burton. If anything, it's a compliment to Stockport because they're having a good season. But I agree. I've just got a feeling on this one's going to be. Take that with a pinch of salt. I always get a feeling I'm always wrong. So, take that for what it's worth. But next game, Dad's Crawley Town at home to Rotherham.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's an important game for both of them. Crawley are just keeping themselves in touch. They're just in that last relegation place at the moment in 21st. Only 1 point adrift of Leyton Orient just above them, so they're in the fight, let's say, and they keep picking up points here and there. Rotherham having an exceptionally poor season. They are down in 17th, and everybody thought at the start of the season that Rotherham would be one of the challengers for automatic places. Yeah. That clearly is unlikely to be happening now. They're on a bad run of form as well. Rotherham, they've lost 3. Drawn 1 and only won 2 of the last 6, and in fact, actually, 3 of the last 4 have been losses. It's hard to predict this, but I'm going to edge towards a 1-0 home win to Crawley.
I've gone for the exact reverse. I've gone for a 1-0 away win.
Oh,
yeah, again, you've covered a really good overview there, Dad. And I think Rotherham being the classic yo-yo team from, we talk about Norwich and West Brom and, the Premier League Championship. Rotherham have always been that classic Championship to League One. And I think a lot of people expected them to bounce straight back from the experience of knowing this league, this level. But very, very poor start for Rotherham. And bless Crawley. I think Crawley as well, everyone kind of writ them off from the start of the season. But they have pulled a few little surprise results out of the bag. I've just got a feeling Rotherham are a better team than where they are in the league. They are going to turn this round at some point. And I've just got a feeling a 1-0 win is going to start to get them on the momentum, pushing a little bit towards the Christmas break.
It might surprise you to know that the Crawley have only lost 1 in the last 5.
Yeah.
But the last 3 have been draws. So actually they haven't been losing games, but they've only been picking single points, which actually in their position is keeping them where they are. So they are ticking along. Rotherham just seem to be. They don't seem to have any How can you put it? There doesn't seem too much firepower
No
there.
killer instinct.
No.
I mean, they seem like lost. They don't seem like they've got any ideas moving forward.
I think it's a big loss.
Very
For them.
lacklustre.
They lost Johnson Clark-Harris, didn't they?
Yeah.
When we played against Peterborough, wasn't he, earlier in the season? I think he's out for them. I think that's a big loss. But yeah, struggling. So interestingly, we've gone for opposite results. That doesn't happen too often.
Yeah,
in
complete
games.
reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good then. So that brings on to Huddersfield Charlton. I'll kick this one off, Dad. So, I mean, for me, this has got a draw written all over it, in my opinion. I think Huddersfield are a decent home team. I think Charlton as well will give them a good game. It's going to be a very physical game. I think Huddersfield will start to push on Christmas and beyond. I think they will be in the playoffs towards the end of the season. I think Charlton could be as well. Charlton are an odd team, aren't they, Dad? Because every time I see the highlights of their matches, that isn't the team that played us.
No.
They had high energy against us. They pressed us high. They kept going for the 90+ minutes. They were very physical. I haven't really seen many Charlton performances like they did against Blues when we went to the Valley that day. However, I still think this has got draw written all over it, and I've got for Huddersfield 1, Charlton 1.
Okay. Yeah, talk about a strange team. You talk about Charlton. I mean, in fact, the last time they won in the league was against us. And everybody thought that after they played us, they were going to kick on. In fact, actually, their form is not brilliant. If you look at their last 8 games, they've only won 1. That was against us.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
actually?
they've lost 4 and drawn 3. In fact, their last, if I go through their last 8 games, lost, then won against us, drawn, lost. Everybody thought they were going to kick on after they beat us, but they didn't. Which just proves the point that when clubs play Birmingham City, they up their game. I can't see Charlton playing as well as that. As they did against us again this season.
Maybe not, yeah.
Apart from when they come to St.Andrews, they'll probably do the same again. Huddersfield, they're on after a very sort of tetchy period, sort of in the first game weeks. They lost 4 in a row, didn't they? But in the last 5 now, they've won 3 and drawn 2. So they're turning a corner as well, although 2 of those draws have come in the last 3. Again, I think Charlton will struggle here because of their form, and I've gone for a Huddersfield win 2-1.
2-1. Okay.
2-1. You've gone for 1-1. I've gone for 2-1.
I have, yeah. Okay, and that brings us on to Lincoln City at home to Wycombe. Should be a good game, this, I think.
Yeah, Lincoln's my favourite away day so far, mainly because of the beer. That was really nice. But I've got fun memories of going to Lincoln, and I enjoyed the day there because clearly we won the game as well.
And Wycombe.
Yes, actually, yeah. That's actually very true as well.
Yeah.
Actually,
my 2 favourite away days this year are playing each other.
They are, aren't they? Yeah. I think that you can't argue with Wycombe's form in the last 10. In the last 10, they've won 9 and drawn 1. I mean that is promotion form by without a shadow of a doubt. Lincoln are at home though, and they've at home they've won 4, drawn 1, and lost 2. So their home form isn't bad. One of those defeats was against us as well. I think the other one was against Barnsley, where they lost at home to Barnsley. But Wycombe are on red hot form at the moment, and I've gone to continue that trend, and I've gone for Lincoln 1, Wycombe 2.
Another narrow victory for Wycombe.
Yeah.
So apparently, I get fact check on this, but Wycombe score 2 goals every game. So, but they've consistently done it for the majority of the games this season. So Wycombe are more than capable of scoring plenty of goals at this level, Dad. And Lincoln City being a decent home team as well, I think they're quite evenly matched, actually. I mean, Wycombe are on hot form, and they deserve to be top of the league with that form, absolutely no doubt about it. But Lincoln are no pushovers, very physical side, good at home.
Yeah, they're a good side. Yeah.
And I've gone for a draw here.
Okay.
I think Lincoln City 2, Wycombe 2.
Okay, 2-2. Yeah, put into my spreadsheet. Okay, fine. Next match we have Mansfield Town at home to Bristol Rovers.
Yeah, well, Mansfield is a stadium we know very well, isn't it, Dad? From the last month that we were there. Very good home team. I think Clough has got them set up very, very well, very compact. Bristol Rovers, again, I class them as a very established League One team, very good. I still think Mansfield at home here are going to have a little bit too much for them. I've gone for Mansfield 2, Bristol Rovers 0.
2-0. And that's another one we've got exactly the same. I've gone for 2-0 as well. You summed it up quite nicely. Yeah, Mansfield, as we speak, are currently 7th in the table. They have really good form. They had a run of 4 straight wins. Then after that, they've lost 1, drawn, lost. So their last few games are a little bit inconsistent, but they are at home again, and they're strong at home, Mansfield.
Yeah. It's because they're hitting the better teams.
Well, they've only lost once. They've won 3, drawn 3, and lost 1 at home, which is a really good record at home.
It is
Bristol
good,
Rovers, they're down in 14th. They are currently on a run of, in the last 5 games, they've won 1, lost 2 and drawn 2. In fact, the last 2 games have been draws, which is why I've gone for 2-0 as well. I think we saw Mansfield at home, and they're quite pressing at home in terms of.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah.
So I can't see anything but a home win. I've also opted for 2-0 as well.
Yeah, interesting. So that brings on to Northampton at home to Cambridge United.
Northampton, we saw them, didn't we? In fact, the last home game we had, they scored that 97th minute equaliser against us when we really didn't put them to bed. And but fair play, they hung in there and they got that late goal. They also drew in the international break. That was another game that was on. They drew 0-0 at Blackpool.
Yeah.
So they're quite capable here, but they're against the Cambridge side that have actually started to pick up a few points, but they had a massive run of losses. In fact, they were bottom of the league for ages with just 1 point. Then they won 3 games in a row. In the last 2, they've lost and drawn, so they started to tail off a little bit now, again, just in the last 2 games. I've gone for a draw here. I think Cambridge, like I explained for Burton, when teams at the bottom end, they've got that position where they've literally already got to start to battle.
Yeah.
I think that they're the worst teams to play because they're going to have to pick up points. I've gone for a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've gone for Northampton 1, Cambridge 3.
Okay.
I actually think Cambridge are going to win this. I think Northampton, Dad, I think you mentioned it on the post-match video, possibly the worst team we've seen this season. And that is no disrespect to Northampton because we know a Northampton fan left a comment on our channel and he mentioned about the injuries that the team had, and it was not a great Northampton team that played us. But I've just got a feeling here. I got a feeling Cambridge are, as you say, in that bit of a rut in terms of league position. They're going to want to battle. They want to get out of it. And I don't know. I've just got a feeling here, a bit like the 2-2 I mentioned, Burton Stockport. I've just got a feeling that Cambridge are going to win this. So I've gone for Northampton 1, Cambridge 3.
Well, that's interesting. Okay. So next, Matt, that brings us on to Peterborough at home to Reading.
2 teams I can't quite work out.
Yeah,
I know that seems like a line we say a lot on this podcast, Dad, but I feel like this league, if anything, it's unleashing the veil of this inconsistency of teams. I don't know how to read or...
I know exactly what you mean.
Or to take them, because Peterborough, I look at them and sometimes think they are incredible. They score a lot of goals. When they go, a bit like Chris Davies, when we score a goal, he just keeps piling the pressure on. Peterborough do the same. They just keep going at teams. And Reading as well, when we saw them, I thought they were fantastic actually against us. They really came and upset the party. And then I've seen them other weeks and they look awful. So really hard to predict. But, Reading, considering all the turmoil off the pitch, they're actually having a decent season, aren't they? Considering in terms of context here. And I think Peterborough, they're just above mid-table at the moment, Peterborough.
Peterborough 12th.
12th, bang on mid-table. So I still think at home Peterborough are going to be too strong here. And a bit like the Wickham theory with the 2 goals a game, I've got a feeling Peterborough are going to get 2 as well. I've gone for Peterborough 2, Reading 1.
2-1.
2-1.
Okay, so that's my spreadsheet going nuts. Okay, 2-1. Right. Do you know what? Listening to you do your explanation about this being unpredictable, it's one of them games. What did you do here? Because Peterborough are 12th and inconsistent form, but score lots of goals, which tells me that their problem is at the back. I mean, they were 2-0 up against us at St.Andrews and lost the game 3-2. Their current form for Peterborough is 1-3. Drawn 1 and lost 2 of the last 6, and it's in the order is 1 drawn, lost 1, lost 1. So it's very, very inconsistent. They've got a decent home record: 1-4, drawn 2, lost 2. But Reading, they're 2 places above, in 10th place, and they are again they've won 3 in a row, then lost, drawn. So they had a good run of results, and now they're tailing off a little bit. I couldn't predict this, so I sort of stuff it 4-2.
4-2.
I've got
4-2 Peterborough.
Peterborough. I've gone Peterborough 4, Reading 2, on the basis that Reading score lots of goals.
Yeah. And so did Peterborough.
Peterborough score lots of goals, but Reading are a decent team as well, so I can only see a lot of goals in this 4-2.
This might sound ridiculous. I could see a Peterborough hammering, I could see a Reading hammering, I could see a draw. I could see all 3 outcomes on this one, but...
Well, one of them would be right.
But it's that unpredictable. For me, this fixture was the fixture of all of them. I just really couldn't really figure it out.
You've got 2-1 to Peterborough. I've got doubled it. I've 4-2.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, I hope you're right, because I love watching an entertaining game, 6 goals. So that brings on to our club, Dad, and that's Shrewsbury Town at home to Birmingham City.
Well, I mean, anybody that looks at the league table, Shrewsbury are rock bottom. We are second, just behind Wickham, 2 points behind with the game in hand.
Yeah,
you can only look at an away victory here, but I think it will be an away victory. I'm going to predict an away victory, but we've still, as a Birmingham City, we've got to be cautious that we don't do what we've done in previous games, where we dominate games and don't make them into goals. Shrewsbury are going to be dangerous with their new manager, Gareth Ainsworth. They'll be looking for that new manager bounce. But I think Birmingham City are easily good enough to win this game. Shrewsbury have lost. Shrewsbury have lost 4 in a row. We have in the last 6 have won 3, drawn 2, and lost 1, and our last 2 were draws.
Yeah.
But I can't see anything past a Birmingham City win here. I've gone for Shrewsbury 1, Birmingham 3.
Nice. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, there's a couple of people on social media who are losing their minds over this Gareth Ainsworth appointment. But it is interesting, Dad. We spoke about this, didn't we? We always seem to play teams when they get a new manager or they get something new to give them this revigoration of life. But then some people said you could get Pep Guardiola in there. If he's managing a poor Shrewsbury team, we should still beat them. And that's the fact, really. Shrewsbury are bottom for a reason. We're second for a reason. I think we will have a significant amount of the ball. I wouldn't be surprised to see 80-20 here for the possession stats. I just really hope we can convert that into more goals this weekend. I think we will, but I'm not going to go crazy on my prediction this week. That I'm going to go Shrewsbury Town 0, Birmingham City 2.
0-2.
I've gone for a clean sheet. I've got a feeling, but it's going to be a lot closer, I think, than what some people might tell. Just in terms of, I don't think the goals are going to be outrageous. Difference-wise here, and I've gone for a pretty subtle 2-0 win for Birmingham.
I think as well, I think the Northampton result particularly be a kick at the backside for Blues, and I think realising that you've got to put teams to bed. We've effectively given points away now in our last 2 games. That has to stop. I'm hoping that's our bad run over. In terms of doing stupid things like that. Shrewsbury are a team just like we explained for Crawley and for Cambridge and for Burton. They're going to be fighting for their lives because they have to. So these are not going to be easy. Even though you could argue that we've beaten them already a couple of times, once in pre-season, once in the EFL Trophy, but this is the big one.
Yeah.
It's the league. This is where it really, really matters, and this is where we've got to win. I know, so we'll have it at the end of all of our videos when we do the pre-match. We'll have Blues fans 5-0, 6-0, 7-0. It happens every single game. But the reality is, even a 1-0 will give us 3 points. I think we're more than good enough to beat Shrewsbury. Yeah. We've got better players than Shrewsbury without an absolute shadow of a doubt, but that makes no difference. If we saw that against Northampton, it's about the way you commit, the way you put your chances away, and we've got to be up for this game.
That's the big thing for me, it's putting the chances away. Yeah. If we can start converting that possession into goals, we'll be absolutely fine, and we are going to have a lot of the ball this weekend, no doubt about it. But, it's a bit of a free pass, isn't it? Gareth Ainsworth's first game. He's playing Birmingham. No one's going to expect them to get anything. He might try some new stuff. He might try a new formation. He might try players in new positions. Who knows what tricks he might have up his sleeve. We're still significantly better, just in terms of the league, in terms of where we are, and I think a Blues victory here.
I think we've both gone for that as well. Yeah. Okay, and then that brings on to our last game for this game week, Matt, which is Wrexham at home to Exeter.
Yeah, Wrexham are a very good home team this season. They're obviously having a very good campaign, and I did watch them against Stockport, and if I'm being totally honest, they look pretty poor, actually. Didn't look like a typical Wrexham team. And then I saw some comments on the Wrexham page, Dad, when the teams post it. And a lot of the fans they weren't unhappy, but they were saying, this seems to keep happening where we're kind of, even previous victories, kind of scraping through games. Not fluking them, but the performance hasn't been up to the scratch, really, of where the fans expect it to be. However, very good home team. And I rate Exeter, Dad. I think Exeter are a very solid, compact League One team, very established now. And I think they're going to go there and be very, very well set up. I can't see anything past a draw here, personally. I've gone for Wrexham 1, Exeter 1.
1-1.
1-1.
Okay. I saw that Wrexham result when they lost at Stockport. But the Wrexham are still up there. They're third in the league. Their home record is, I think, it's the best in the league.
Yeah, it is, I think.
Won 6 and drawn 1. They haven't lost yet. So that is exceptional. They are at home. They are at home again. Exeter do not concede many goals. In fact, Exeter have only conceded 4 goals at home and 6 goals away. They've only conceded 10 goals in 14 games. So that tells you that they're not going to concede many goals.
They're well set up, Exeter. Don't underestimate Exeter. Very good team.
Well, we've got them coming up in midweek after the Shrewsbury game, and we'll talk about that at that point. But even though I said that Exeter don't concede many goals, I think the fact that Wrexham are at home, I've gone for a home win here, and I think this will be the game that will possibly be where Exeter will start to concede a few goals. I've gone for Wrexham 3, Exeter 2.
Good game again.
if it is that
You
result.
predicted some stonkers this weekend. I can't wait to watch the Peterborough highlights and the Wrexham highlights if you're right.
Yeah, me too. But you'll probably sit there watching 2-0 results. But yeah, I just think that Wrexham are strong at home, and actually that's where they're going to pick most of their points up. Clearly, I mean Wrexham's away record. Not that this is relevant to this game, but they've only won twice away, drawn 3 and lost 3. If they are serious about being automatic contenders, they're going to have to pick their away form up. But in this case, they're at home, and I think Exeter, as good as they are, I think a lot of teams will struggle when they go to Wrexham. They just know how to win at home, and they've shown that the best in the league, and I think they'll continue that this week.
They've got good fans, haven't they, Wrexham?
Good fans. They are good fans. Yeah,
it's a difficult ground to go to. I'm going to guess it's quite intimidating there. I think it's quite small, but their fans are loud, they're noisy, they're loyal, and I think they are set up compact. They are set up. They are set up well. I just think the consensus seems to be that on a few recent results, the performance hasn't been up to the level that they've been expecting, really. And I agree. I've seen a couple of Wrexham games. And don't get me wrong, very good team, very compact. They'll be very good this season. They'll be up there. But I think the fan base are hoping for a few better, more solid performances.
Yeah. Don't underestimate Exeter. I think we'll see them pushing for the playoffs.
Same.
So this is actually a game. It's a top half of the top half playoff top of level game. This is. So I think it should be a very, very interesting game. This one.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as always, Blues fans, we'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on some of the score predictions, especially the Blues one? And if you're checking in or tuning in from another club and you've seen your result pop up, please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, we don't take this massively seriously. It's all just a bit of fun and games, really. But please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channel. We have an Instagram page, we have an X page, and we're also on Spotify as well now if you'd like to listen to your podcast on that format and in that way. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press that bell icon as well so you get notified whenever we post. We do post at regular times, but you'll actually be notified then when we do. And we will see you on the next video all about Birmingham City.